Progressive overload is a principle that's widely used in strength programs around the world. Just merely understanding why we use progressive overload will help you at home progress. But we must ask the question, what is progressive overload and how do we implement it into our training?
Progressive overload, the gradual increase in stress placed upon the body during training.
One of the easiest ways I've found to help people understand the principle of progressive overload from a visual point of view is
Milo of Croton was a celebrated Olympic wrestler, but he was also well known for his superhuman strength, rather than his wrestling accolades. Milo demonstrated what is to be considered as the first recorded form of progressive overload. He decided to carry a newborn calf around his house every day to help build strength. As that calf grew, so did Milo's strength. Fast forward a few years, now that newborn calf has developed into a fully grown bull. However, Milo was still gallivanting around his house as if this bull was just as heavy as it originally was back when it was still a calf.
How was he able to achieve all of this, you may ask? Simple answer, progressive overload.
As the bull grew in size, so did Milo's body. It also adapted to the weight of the bull. Remember, this didn't happen overnight. It took years for the bull to fully develop, allowing Milo's body to adapt to the weight of the bull, progressively getting stronger.
Now, what's all this have to do with bench press and deadlifts? Well, just the principle of progressive overload is one of the most effective ways to build strength. And here's why.
Our bodies are great at adapting. By continuing to manipulate the weight, volume, intensity, tempo, and the variation of movement, as well as many other factors, this prevents our bodies from completely adapting to the methods that we use to help progress our strength, giving us a slight incline of improvement over time. This is what allows both novice lifters and elite athletes to continue to progress their strength to feats unimaginable to the human race.
Now that we've covered the principle of progressive overload and how it is used in a successful strength program, now I'm going to explain exactly why I've covered off this point in the first place. My long-term goal is to hit a 220 kilo deadlift and a 140 kilo bench press, while maintaining my fitness using CrossFit as a methodology. Now, CrossFit is awesome. However, it's not going to fast track my strength at the speed that I would like it to move. This is why I've implemented my 8-week bench press and deadlift program, and you guys at home can follow along too. Simply by visiting absolutebeast.org, there will be a full program PDF file ready to go, and you can follow day by day, week by week of the exact program that I will be following too.
This 8-week deadlift and bench press program have the focus on building up the two main problems in positions, both in the deadlift and the bench press itself, which I'll explain later in the video. Whether you're looking at improving your base strength, looking at a direction for your training, or you're just bored, give this program a try. And the best thing it is, you can continue doing your daily CrossFit workout.
Today I'm going to cover the full program of week 1, day 1. Starting off with our very first movement.
Deadlift top set. 1 set of 2 at an RPE of 8. Deadlift sets. 2 times 8 at a 6 RPE. The focus here is to lift relatively heavy for our initial set of the 2. Then the weight backs off for more of a bodybuilding style set and reps. Just like Milo of Croton, our bodies must be under stress to adapt. The initial set of deadlifts is designed for us to give our best effort first, then backing off for some lighter, higher repetition sets to help promote posterior development.
First, let's cover off the elephant in the room, RPE. What is RPE? And why are we using this method instead of percentage work? Now, I'm not here to debate whether RPE is more effective than percentage work and vice versa, but purely I'm going to explain what it is and why I'm using it in this program throughout. So what is RPE even stand for? RPE stands for rate of perceived exertion. Now, my personal definition of what RPE stands for is
the perception of how heavy or how hard a certain movement is based on the rate of exertion required. In English, if I was to ask you to aim for an RPE of 8, I'm looking for you to leave at least 2 reps in the tank. People may argue that this method can be difficult for most lifting novices as they don't know their body's true potential or they haven't established firm 1 rep maxes. And I agree. However, even from a personal perspective, if they were to undershoot their weights, their technique is always going to be the main attributing factor of any training. This will not only allow them to be more mindful of how good their technique is, but the demand for quote-unquote higher percentages won't deter them from slipping in technique.
I also like Jeff Nippard's approach on finding an accurate RPE for certain movements. Specifically, more in hypertrophy-based exercises, we can safely find out what an 8 RPE would feel like. And here's how. Jeff's idea of finding out RPE is calling out loud exactly when you personally believe a certain rate of perceived exertion is at. So for example, let's say we're doing incline dumbbell bench press, and at the rep number 8 for an 8 RPE exercise, I call out 8 RPE, and then see how many repetitions I truly have left in the tank. This will give us a good idea of whether we were accurate, inaccurate, or in between with our judgment of a certain weight. Of course, we can use this as a tool to help figure out in our major exercises what exactly RPE will be for a certain lift and a certain weight. So RPE can be a great tool for progressive overload, and that's what I discussed in the introduction of this video. But why am I specifically using RPE in this program? Well,
as a CrossFitter, we perform a range of different workouts that demand different fitness modalities. Monday, we could hit heavy squats. Tuesday, we could go for a 5-kilometer run. Wednesday, we might perform Diane, which is 21-15-9, deadlifts at 100, and handstand push-ups. As CrossFit may prepare us for what's unknown and unknowable, my deadlift and bench program matches that preparation. Even though in theory, performing this program alongside a CrossFit program may not be the most optimal way to build strength, the method of allowing the athlete to perceive what is heavy and what is definitely not will be more effective in the long run. Imagine if you come off performing the workout Murph in the morning and then try to deadlift 90% of your 1RM.
It's not ideal, but focusing on listening to our body, performing RPE based on how we feel on the day will make us most effective not only in class, but also in our strength program. Now that I've covered off exactly what RPE is, progressive overload is, and how we're going to use it in this program, let's take a look at day 1, week 1.
Rack press. Build to a heavy 5, 9 RPE. Then 5 at 95%, 5 at 90% of the heavy 5 weight achieved. The rack press lays out the foundation of what our first 4-week cycle will be focusing on, the top half sticking point. Day 1 and day 4 have almost identical movement focuses. However, it's the movement itself that changes. Rack press focuses on the top half sticking point in our bench press, where we drive the bar off our chest but can't lock out that final portion of the movement. Day 4 focuses on the rack pull, the top half of our deadlift, where you can get the bar over your knees but can't seem to complete the movement. Whether your sticking point is the top half or not, this will help install good technique and allow us to strengthen the top portion of both of these lifts. We are looking to build to a heavy 5, leaving at least 1 rep left in the tank. Then, at the heaviest weight achieved, performing 1 set of 5 at 95% of what we achieved, then 1 set of 5 at 90%. So, if I got 90 kilos for my set of 5, my 95% would be 86 kilos, then 81 kilos for the 90%. Rack press, in this case, is initiated by unracking the bar and bringing it down to the bottom position. I've chosen a lift lying on the floor, but if your gym has safety racks on the side, use these, as it makes the movement way more comfortable. Then, after a short pause at the bottom, drive the bar up to complete the repetition. Rinse and repeat for 5 total repetitions. That concludes the priority tasks of day 1, week 1. this is what I expect you to do first. The secondary tasks are vital to your success in the deadlift. However, they are accessory movements that help promote stability and strength in our smaller muscles, so this should be done second. What we have is 3 sets of 15 GHD sit-ups, 8+ chin-ups, and 15 barbell upright rows. In what I call a detailed summary, the GHD sit-ups are looking to promote hip, hamstring, and core strength to help us keep more stable during our deadlifts and bench. If we can't physically perform a GHD or we don't have one available, weighted sit-ups with a plate will suffice. Chin-ups are looking to develop the lats, biceps, and subscapular. Even though technically an upper body pulling movement, this helps translate to our deadlifts. As we use our lats, biceps, and upper back during a deadlift, we want to make sure that these are bulletproof. If we can't perform a chin-up unassisted, using things like bands, or performing an inverted ring row will be a great alternative. The plus in the movement means a minimum of 8 repetitions, but whatever you can achieve past this is a bonus. The barbell upright row are good shoulder auxiliary exercises. Looking at building up stronger front delts and forearms, front delts are shields for our shoulders during heavy bench presses, where the larger, more dominant muscles begin to fail. Conditioning and recovery. 10 minutes of light cardio, 10 minutes of stretching. This is in the extra category, the 1%ers if you will. Don't think of it as a set of exercises you should just skip. The mobility section of the program is broad because I want you to perform exercises that will build mobility in areas that you personally struggle with. I generally do this piece before bed. My suggestion, either cool down or warm up with the 10 minutes of light cardio. Your choice. If you feel like you need an extra boost to your warm up, you want to increase your heart rate and elevate it so that when we start our warm up, we're actually feeling a little bit looser, joints are a little bit more mobilized, go for it. Otherwise, use it as a cool down at the end of your session to kind of end things off well. And that's it, guys. That covers off week 1, day 1 of our 8-week strength program for bench press and deadlifts. Now, if you're interested in the program, www.absolutebeast.org for your program needs. At the release of this video, the program is going to be 50% off for the next week. Make sure you use the code in the description down below to get 50% off that program. Leave me some feedback, send me messages on Instagram. Let me know how your program's going, and if you've got any questions at all, either leave it in the comments down below or at my Instagram, Tyler J. Hamilton. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you're gonna enjoy this series. And as always, you guys at home, stay a beast.